जय संगत की। गुरुजी से पहली बार दर्शन गुरुजी का हुआ 1998 में दिसंबर में। और जैसा होता है अक्सर, ये एक बहुत बड़ी समस्या थी जिसके कारण गुरुजी का दर्शन। हमारी जो दूसरी बेटी हम लोगों की, उसको बहुत बुरा अस्थमा था और हम लोग सिंगापुर में थे। मेरा एक्सपैट असाइनमेंट था। हम लोग इंडिया घूमने आए हुए थे और बेंगलोर और मैसूर में घूम रहे थे। उस समय उसको बहुत बुरा अटैक हुआ। ऐसे अटैक्स पहले भी होते थे। फॉर्चुनेटली शी सर्वाइव्ड, बट इट वाज टच एंड गो। उसके बाद हम लोग दिल्ली आए और बहुत परेशान थे, क्योंकि उसको एक साल बाद यूनिवर्सिटी में जाना था यूएस में। हम लोग के साथ रहती थी तो हम लोग जानते थे उसका कब अस्थमा अटैक होने वाला है। थोड़ा प्रिपेयर्ड रहते थे, थोड़ा इंट्यूशन रहता था, so we could take care of things. But even then, at least 3 times we came very close to losing her. So the thought कि वो अकेली होगी वहां पे यूनिवर्सिटी में, जब जाएगी वहां पे डॉर्मिटरी में रहेगी और उसका अटैक होगा तो उसके आसपास कौन रहेगा, कौन देखेगा उसे, कौन पहुंचाएगा हॉस्पिटल, तो इसके बारे में बहुत चिंता रहती। तो हम लोग दिल्ली गए। उसके बाद बेंगलोर के बाद तो हमारे चाचा जी मिस्टर प्रकाश सिंह, गुरुजी के बहुत बहुत पुराने उनका संबंध रहा है। गुरुजी जब जलंधर में थे बहुत पहले, when Guruji was very young, till then, from then he had known. तो हमारे चाचा जी ने मुझसे कहा कि अगर श्रद्धा है तो गुरुजी के यहाँ ले चलता हूँ और उनकी कृपा होगी तो बेटी ठीक हो जाएगी। वैसे मुझे गुरुजी के बारे में कुछ नहीं मालूम था। मुझे ये भी नहीं समझ में आया क्या बोल रहे हैं श्रद्धा और कृपा के बारे में, और कुछ भी करने को मैं तैयार था। मैंने कहा हाँ बिल्कुल चलेंगे। उन्होंने कहा ठीक है। वो नोएडा में रहते थे। उन्होंने कहा आज ठीक है, दोपहर को आ जाना एंड वील गो टुगेदर इन माय कार। तो हम लोग सब एक साथ गए नोएडा से। उस समय एम्पायर स्टेट में थे गुरुजी, उनकी संगत वहां होती थी। काफी लंबा सफर था, घंटे 1.5 घंटे का। परंतु चाचा जी ने मुझे कुछ भी नहीं बताया गुरुजी के बारे में। मैंने पूछा भी नहीं। जब हम लोग एम्पायर स्टेट पहुंचे तो चाचा जी कार से उतर के हमसे बोलते हैं कि फॉलो द ड्रिल, मतलब कि जो वो कर रहे हैं वो हम भी करें। तो हमारे कुछ एक्सपेक्टेशंस थे कि गुरुजी शायद कोई वृद्ध पुरुष होंगे, लंबी सी सफेद दाढ़ी होगी, गेरुआ वस्त्र पहने शायद बैठे होंगे, कुछ या तो टोटल साइलेंस होगा या कुछ धीरे धीरे भजन वगैरह चल रहे होंगे। परंतु जो हम लोगों ने एनवायरनमेंट देखा वो टोटली डिफरेंट था। बहुत यंग डैशिंग गुरुजी वहां बैठे हुए थे, वेरी कलरफुल क्लोथ्स, और बहुत कस कस के वहां पर अमृतवाणी चल रही। तो मैं हैरान हो गया। मैंने कहा ये तो सब नहीं मैं एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा था। खैर मैंने कहा चाचा जी सही जगह लेके आए होंगे। चाचा जी के पीछे पीछे गए। चाचा जी ने प्रणाम किया, पैर छुए। हम लोगों ने भी प्रणाम किया, पैर छुए। तो ही मैंने पैर छुए गुरुजी तुरंत मुझे संबोधित किया मेरे नाम से, अशोक आ गया। अशोक इज द हाउ दे एड्रेस मी एट होम। मैंने कहा हो सकता है चाचा जी ने बता दिया हो मेरा नाम गुरुजी को, पर ऐसा कुछ नहीं था। गुरुजी की कृपा ही से सब लोग पहुंच पाते थे, और ऑफ कोर्स गुरुजी को सबके बारे में मालूम रहता था, परंतु उस समय मुझे नहीं मालूम था ऐसा। एनीवे, फिर उसके बाद हम लोग बैठ गए। फिर गुरुजी ने बुलाया तो फिर स्पेशली श्रीमती जी काफी बताने लगी गुरुजी को अपनी बेटी की समस्या के बारे में। तो गुरुजी ने बड़े प्यार से सुना थोड़ी देर तक, फिर कहा ठीक है बैठ जाओ, मुझे सब मालूम। फिर हम लोग बैठ गए। फिर थोड़ी देर बाद गुरुजी ने हाथ से बुलाया अपने पास। हम लोग गुरुजी के पास गए बेटी को लेके। गुरुजी ने अपना बस दायां हाथ उठाया और कहा कल्याण कित्ता, दैट्स ऑल। कहता बैठ जा। हम लोग बैठ गए फिर से। उस समय रूटीन ये था कि उस समय लंगर सबके लिए नहीं होता था, पर गुरुजी एक प्रसाद बांटा करते थे। तो बीच में सब लोग उठते थे, लाइन लगती थी सबकी प्रसाद लेने के लिए। तो फिर बाहर जाके हाथ धोया करते थे, फिर बाहर फिर से आके बैठ जाते थे। तो उस समय थोड़ा आपस में फिर मिलने जुलने का समय मिलता था। वैसे भीड़ तो बहुत होती थी, एक साथ हम लोग नहीं बैठे थे। चाचा जी कहीं और बैठे थे, हम लोग कहीं और बैठे थे, श्रीमती जी कहीं थी बेटी के साथ, मैं कहीं और था। परंतु उस समय जब हम लोग हाथ धोने के लिए उठे तो चाचा जी ने पूछा कि गुरुजी ने क्या कहा, क्योंकि उन्होंने देखा था गुरुजी ने कुछ बोला। तो हम लोगों ने बताया गुरुजी ने कहा कल्याण कितना। चाचा जी बहुत खुश। उन्होंने कहा बेटी ठीक हो गई। मैंने कहा बस ठीक हो गए? मैंने कहा हाँ, मुझे तो बिल्कुल विश्वास नहीं, परंतु मैंने उसके बाद जैसा चाचा जी ने कहा था वैसे ही था। बेटी को बिल्कुल एकदम परफेक्ट क्योर हो गई। उसके बाद उसको कभी भी किसी तरह का कोई भी अस्थमा का या किसी और तरह की प्रॉब्लम नहीं रही। शी वॉज क्योर्ड फॉर एवर। और गुरुजी ने क्या किया, बस कल हाथ उठाया, बोला कल्याण कीता, बस उनकी कृपा मिल गई। उसके बाद बहुत अच्छा लगा कि जो उस समय जीवन की सबसे बड़ी समस्या थी, गुरुजी ने बस कुछ ही सेकंड में दूर कर दी, हमेशा के। उसके बाद अक्सर चले जाते थे गुरुजी के दरबार में। मैं सिंगापुर में था, मैं मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर था अपनी कंपनी के लिए एशिया पैसिफिक में। तो इंडिया भी मेरी टेरिटरी थी, तो जब भी मन चाहता था गुरुजी के दर्शन के तो प्रोग्राम बना लेता था वहां पर और चला जाता था। रूटीन ये रहता था, थर्सडे को पहुंच जाता था, थर्सडे फ्राइडे सैटरडे संडे को दर्शन करते थे, संडे की रात को वापस सिंगापुर आ जाते थे, सुबह सिंगापुर वापस मंडे को पहुंचते। So this routine went on for a very long time, until Guruji was there, till 2006. और बहुत सी मिरेकल्स देखने को मिले। तरह तरह के लोग, टर्मिनल इलनेस वाले लोग आते थे, तो गुरुजी तुरंत क्योर कर देते थे। हार्ट, सीवियर हार्ट प्रॉब्लम, जिनको हार्ट सर्जरी होने वाली थी, मैंने देखा समोसा खिलाते थे गुरुजी, उसी से ठीक कर देते थे। हर तरह की बीमारियां गुरुजी को मैंने देखा ठीक करते थे, सामने सामने। फिर आपको अपना एक्सपीरियंस बताएं अपनी जिंदगी का। मुझे भी गुरुजी ने 2 नई लाइफ्स दी। तो पहला एक्सपीरियंस था, आई थिंक इट वाज अराउंड ईयर 2005, ऑल्दो आई एम नॉट श्योर, मुझे डेट पता करनी चाहिए थी या लिखनी चाहिए थी, मैंने लिखना भूल गया। दिवाली का समय था, तो हम लोगों ने सोचा कि दिवाली कभी हम लोगों ने इंडिया में मनाई नहीं है। मैं तो 71 से यूएस में था, तब से इंडिया में दिवाली नहीं मनाई। मैंने कहा इतने सालों बीत गए, इस साल दिवाली इंडिया में मनाएंगे। तो हम लोग गए गुरुजी के दरबार में। तो पहले प्रश्न गुरुजी ने पूछा कि कब तक रहोगे। तो हम लोगों ने बताया कि जा रहे हैं इलाहाबाद, अब तो प्रयागराज बोलते हैं, इलाहाबाद में हम लोगों का घर है। मैंने कहा वहाँ पे हम लोग जाएंगे, श्रीमती जी ने बताया वहाँ पे दिवाली मना के वापस आ जाएंगे। तो गुरुजी कहते हैं अच्छा, गुरुजी के साथ दिवाली नहीं मनाओगे? तो वो सोचने लगे, पर गुरुजी ने खुद ही आंसर दे दिया। उन्होंने कहा अच्छा ऐसा करो, जाके अपने आप मिलाओ फैमिली में, एक दिन मिलाओ, फिर अगले दिन आ जाना और दिवाली यहाँ पे मनाओ गुरुजी के साथ। So that's how we made our plans. We went to Allahabad and returned before Diwali, just actually the morning of Diwali. Overnight ट्रेन में हम लोग थे। तो जब ट्रेन में बैठा था तो आई फेल्ट फाइन, रात में कोई मुझे प्रॉब्लम नहीं हुई, परंतु मैं जब सुबह उठा मुझे ऐसा लगा मैं उठ ही नहीं पा रहा था। और कोई और प्रॉब्लम नहीं लग रही थी, पर ऐसा लग रहा था कि मेरे पैर जैसे हैं एकदम लाइक दे वर वेइंग अ टन, मैं उठा नहीं पा रहा था पैर। तो बड़ी मुश्किल से किसी तरह बैठा मैं, मतलब किसी तरह से ट्रेन से उतरा, किसी तरह से प्लेटफॉर्म से बाहर गया, कार में बैठा। फिर उस समय उषा के फादर का घर था नोएडा में, तो उन्हीं के यहाँ घर चले गए हम लोग, और सीधे मैं पलंग में जाके लेट गया एक कमरे में। परंतु तभी मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था कि समथिंग इज टेरिबली रॉन्ग, कुछ मैं मूव नहीं कर पा रहा था, उठ नहीं पा रहा था, कुछ बहुत ऐसा लग रहा था बहुत भार है, बहुत भारी है। मैंने फाइनली मैंने उषा से कहा कि उषा मुझे हॉस्पिटल लेके चलो। तो वहां पे पास में एक हॉस्पिटल था, मेट्रो हॉस्पिटल नोएडा में। दिवाली का दिन था तो उषा लेके वहीं पर गई। तो डॉक्टर तलवार वॉज इन अटेंडेंस और ही इज द वन हु सॉ अस। अच्छा, उसके पहले गुरुजी की वहां बड़ी अच्छी सुगंध आ गई जो ही हॉस्पिटल पहुंचे। तो बड़ा अच्छा लगा कि अब तो लगता है गुरुजी की कृपा है, शायद ठीक हो जाएंगे जल्दी। उस समय मुझे ये नहीं मालूम था कितनी प्रॉब्लम है। खैर आई वाज एग्जामिन्ड बाय डॉक्टर तलवार एंड ही वाज वेरी डिस्टर्ब्ड। उन्होंने कहा कि आई कांट बिलीव दैट यू आर स्टिल अलाइव एंड वॉकिंग, यू शुड बी इन आईसी, इंटेंसिव केयर यूनिट इमीडिएट। उन्होंने मुझे इंटेंसिव केयर यूनिट में भर्ती कर दिया। परंतु हम लोगों ने कहा कि ये तो छोटा हॉस्पिटल है, मेट्रो हॉस्पिटल, वी शुड गो टू अ बिगर हॉस्पिटल, मोर फेमस हॉस्पिटल। तो हम लोगों ने डॉक्टर तलवार को कहा कि हम लोग आई थिंक वी विल गो टू अ बिगर एंड बेटर नोन हॉस्पिटल, व्हिच हॉस्पिटल वुड यू रिकमेंड? वो हंसने लगे, कहने लगे देखो आज दिवाली का दिन है, कहीं भी जाओगे कोई भी अच्छा डॉक्टर तुम्हें नहीं मिलेगा, एंड इट्स योर लकी डे बिकॉज आई एम वन ऑफ द बेस्ट एक्सपर्ट्स ऑन एस्थमा in the metropolitan area, and it's very lucky that I'm here today. I didn't plan to be, but I'm here. So just stay here. हम लोग खैर we stayed there. और दिवाली का दिन था, तो शाम को जब शाम हुई तो मैंने श्रीमती जी को बोला तुम जाके दर्शन कराओ. Although I was in ICU, I could talk to her a little bit. मैंने कहा गुरुजी ने कहा था दिवाली साथ में मनाना. तो somebody else looked after me in the hospital, sat with me. तो श्रीमती जी चली गई गुरुजी के दर्शन करने. तो of course गुरुजी को सब मालूम ही था. गुरुजी ने जल्दी श्रीमती जी को रवाना कर दिया वापस और कुछ प्रसाद दे दिया. कहा कि उसको तुरंत जाके खिला देना. गुरुजी इंस्ट्रक्शंस वर फॉलोड और मेरी तबीयत बहुत धीरे तुरंत it was like a miracle. Within 2 days I was fine. And just 2 days ago when I was admitted, my oxygen level was so low that Dr. Talwar was surprised that I was still walking. तो उसके बाद जब 2 दिन बाद मैं ठीक हो गया तो फिर उस समय सोचा कि अब गुरुजी के जाके दर्शन करें, गुरुजी को धन्यवाद दें. We went. गुरुजी के पैर यूं ही छुए पहुंच गए. गुरुजी ने कुछ बोला पंजाबी में, पर मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आया. मैं बैठ गया. उसके बाद चूंकि तबीयत अभी रिकवर कर रहा था, अभी कमजोर था, तो बहुत देर तक नहीं बैठा. फिर अब गुरुजी की आज्ञा लेके सोचा कि अब चलते हैं. तो गुरुजी की आज्ञा लेने गया वापस जाने के लिए. तो गुरुजी के पैर छुए. उस समय गुरुजी के पास एक यंग कपल बैठा हुआ. तो गुरुजी ने उनकी ओर देख कर हमारे तरफ इशारा किया और कहा कि इसको सेकंड लाइफ दे दी. बहुत तेजी से बोला गुरुजी ने, बहुत लाउडली. So I could hear it, and he spoke in a very non-Punjabi way, so I could understand it too. Guruji ने actually यही कहा था. मैं जब शुरू में आया था, मैं समझ नहीं पाया. So Guruji made sure at that time I understood. Guruji ने second life दी. So that's how he gave me the first second life. दूसरा जो एपिसोड हुआ वो that was in 2006. मुझे 2006 तक ऐसा लग रहा था कि मैं सिंगापुर में था, कि मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था कि there may be cancer. So I cut down my appointment in Singapore, took early retirement and came back to US. और 2000 और काफी एग्जामिनेशन वगैरह हुआ, काफी मतलब टेस्ट वगैरह किए. तो it was looking like I must have biopsy to confirm ये कैंसर है कि नहीं. तो in late March biopsy का अपॉइंटमेंट था. तो biopsy हमारी हुई. In biopsy something went wrong, and the result was septicemia, blood poisoning, and we didn't know anything about that at that time. But ऐसा हुआ कि biopsy के अगले दिन I started shivering, totally uncontrolled, और ठंड लगी जा रही थी. मैंने श्रीमती जी को बोला एक कंबल बढ़ाओ, फिर दूसरा कंबल, तीसरा कंबल, चौथा कंबल. And then she insisted that we should go to hospital. Although जैसा होता है मुझे लग रहा था सब ठीक हो जाएगा, क्या जाने की जरूरत. But anyway, ambulance came and we were taken to the nearest hospital. And the doctors there also could not immediately diagnose what was wrong. But thankfully हमारे जो बड़े दामाद जी हैं, he's a surgeon, physician also. So he immediately came from Los Angeles when he found out that I was not well. और जो बीच की बेटी है वो भी डॉक्टर है. She was there, and all the other two, everybody was there basically, the family, and they are basically all doctors. So with their help, the doctors finally realized कि हमारा जो because of the biopsy हमें septicemia हो गया है. And in septicemia, I think many of you are probably physicians, there is no way to cure it. It's something that body must basically take care of itself slowly. But it's a very risky also. The fatality rate is 50%. So 50% of the patients with septicemia don't survive. The reason being that, as blood is poisoned, the internal organs start failing because of that poisoned blood. So the only cure for that is basically to dilute the poison in the blood. And for that, they pump a lot of water in my bloodstream, in me. So basically what happened, they pumped about twice as much volume of water in me as I had the blood. So obviously the main risk was it would create problem for my heart. But even before that, everything else was almost going to fail. Gallbladder was on the verge of failure. Kidney was on the verge of failure. And finally, my heart failed. But heart failed at a perfect time. Because, I was in the ICU. So as usual, there people, the specialists go on round. So at that time, the cardiologist was on his round with his complete team, with all their equipment that I was hooked to, and they were examining me when my heart failed. But it was a perfect time with Guruji's blessing for the heart to fail, because all the experts who were needed to take care of me were right there, the cardiologist with his full team and all their equipment that I was hooked on. So they were able to, take care of me. I was, back into good life again. उसके बाद उस रात को श्रीमती थोड़ी देर के घर गई. उस दिन गुरुजी का फोन आया 4 o'clock in the morning at our time. तो गुरुजी ने पूछा, अंकल कैसे हैं? तो श्रीमती जी ने बताया उन्हें कि सेप्टोसीमिया है. तो गुरुजी ने कहा, सेप्टोसीमिया क्या? तो गुरुजी ने कहा, सब बताओ धीरे धीरे. गुरुजी को श्रीमती जी ने सब समझाया कि सेप्टोसीमिया के बारे में. तो गुरुजी ने कहा, कुछ नहीं, उसको जाके नमक और हल्दी उसके मुंह में डाल दे. तो वाइफ ने बताया कि गुरुजी वो तो ही इज ऑन वेंटिलेटर एंड एवरी part of his body is hooked on to some kind of equipment. Nothing, I can't put anything anywhere in his mouth. So Guruji ne nahi ho jayega. So, anyway, she brought some salt and haldi, and this is, of course, I was told all this because I was unconscious mostly. But as soon as she entered the ICU, the nurses, there were 2 nurses who were attending me. They immediately left as of on cue. So there was nobody looking. So immediately wife was able to put some salt and haldi in my mouth. And then she talked to the children, and children were so happy. They said, Mom, Dad will be fine. Because at 4 o'clock in the morning, actually exactly the same time when Guruji had called, they said that at that same time, there was so much fragrance in that room. The children were also with me in the ICU. They said there was so much fragrance in the room that it was totally incredible. So they said, now Dad will be fine. We were so happy. So anyway, slowly, I was okay, but I was still under observation. So they moved me out of ICU into a monitoring room, not a regular room, but another place in the middle where I was being monitored, but not in the ICU. The problem with me at that time was that my heart, my pulse rate and blood pressure was very low. Pulse rate was only about 40 or so. I can't remember exactly. And blood pressure was extremely low. So doctors were still very concerned that jab tak ye theek nahi ho jata, we won't be able to move him into a regular room. So anyway, at that time, Usha's wife's sister called from Delhi, and she asked, how am I doing? So wife ne bataya ki Guruji ko bata do ki blood pressure and pulse rate bahut low hai. This is the blood pressure and this is the pulse rate. So when she went for Guruji's darshan, that's what she told Guruji. Guruji ne kaha, acha, pulse rate itni 72 kar deta, jaake phone kar de. So sister called my wife. Wife's sister called her. बोला कि गुरुजी तो बोल रहे हैं उसकी जीजा जी की पल्स रेट 72 हो गई. तो वाइफ ने कहा ऐसी तो कुछ नहीं, वो पल्स रेट तो बहुत लो है. उन्होंने कहा जाके फिर से देखिए. Since I was being monitored, the pulse rate was not being displayed right in the room. It was being displayed at the nursing station, which was right outside. So wife walked outside, and she said she couldn't believe, because it was a digital measurement. And essentially, the pulse rate had just gone up from wherever it was, 40s or wherever it was, all the way up to 72. And then it was constant at 72, like on a machine. So this is all Guruji's blessing. He immediately sitting in Delhi. He made the pulse rate and blood pressure normal. So anyway, after a few days, after a day or two, I was put in the normal room, and then I was getting ready to be discharged. But the cardiologist was still concerned. He had seen my heart fail. And he wanted to do, I don't know what is the procedure called, I forgot, but anyway, he wanted to perform that procedure. And so for that, they took me, and, I was unconscious. And they performed the procedure. And as I was regaining consciousness, I could hear the doctor talk to his assistants, and he was absolutely astonished. उसकी ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा था कि I mean, he was looking at everything and everything was normal with Guruji's grace. And he could not believe that, my heart was normal. And I was praying to Guruji before that, I was saying, Guruji, I don't want anything, out from outside artificial put in my heart. Guruji, please, because I knew that they will put a stunt in my heart in there. And I said, Guruji, my body is given by you. It should be, that's how it should be. Please don't allow them to put anything inside. And that's exactly what happened. Everything was perfect. And the cardiologist couldn't believe it. And then he came out and I was explaining to my family, and a surgeon, cardiac surgeon, who's a good friend, who he was there, and he was expressing his astonishment and his huge surprise that what happened. He's the same gentleman who had a heart failure, whose arteries were blocked. Now he can't see any blockage anywhere, and everything is totally perfect. It's like a young man's heart. So anyway, so this is all Guruji's grace. So I'm in my third life, and I did have cancer, for which I was operated in November of 2007. And again, with Guruji's blessing, chalta firta in one piece, aapke samne hu. It's all his blessing, all his grace, and I have no physical ailments at all. I don't take any medication, nothing. So with his grace, everything is perfect. There's nothing to worry about, despite all the upheavals that I've gone through my health. It's all his grace. Aur kaun kar sakta hai? And one can think about it. What is there in life? You can philosophize. We all have to go. Yeah, we do have to go. But at that time when all this happened, it was not right for me to go, because my children were still young. They were not settled. They were not married. And then I needed to be here. So Guruji made, just with Guruji's blessing, I was here. So I could take care of them. And basically, they are all settled. The girls are all settled and married. They have all 2 kids. And the youngest, who is a son, is also now working. So with Guruji's grace, I was there to help them, get settled in life. Who else can do all this? It's all his grace. And, it's all his blessings. But his blessings are not just limited to giving you good health and good life. He looks after everything. And I give you a couple of examples. I can give you examples for hours. But I'll take you back to year 2004. It was May of 2004. मैं गुरुजी के दर्शन के लिए गया था अपनी श्रीमती जी के साथ दिल्ली, and we were staying at Imperial Hotel, my favorite Imperial Hotel in Janpat. And I was in a shower, and I getting ready actually to go to Sangat. Then I heard a phone ring, and my boss was on the line from US, and he said that you must come immediately, and the chairman and the president of the company would like to meet with you at the headquarters. What is the reason? He said we have gone through a management change, and we want to put a new operating VP in our division, and we proposed few names, and they liked only one name. They offered him the job, but he didn't accept the job because that gentleman was from finance with no operating experience. So he got cold feet. Wo ghabra gaya ki, whether he'll be able to handle the responsibility. And he said, then your name was given, and you were accepted. But they didn't accept anybody else. So you must come immediately, and you must accept the job. So first, I pleaded with him. I said, I'm very happy here. What is the point in coming with him? Coming there, all the things are going so wonderful, and so much more beautiful things are about to happen here in business. But he insisted. He said, you have to come, because if you don't come and if you don't accept the job, they are going to send somebody from headquarters, one of their own people. And I don't want that. I don't want somebody who's like a spy from the headquarters. So I said, okay. I couldn't refuse. What he was asking me to do. So I said, okay, I'll come. So anyway, immediately after that, we went to Guruji's darshan, and I touched Guruji's feet. Didn't say anything, and Guruji immediately had a big smile on his face, and he said, income double. I immediately realized, it's all his grace, it's all blessing. He had arranged all this. परंतु मुझे बिल्कुल जाने का मन नहीं था वापस. Because it's not just money. There's quality of life and so many other things that are very important in life. And I just didn't see myself being very happy if I went back. मैंने गुरुजी से कहा, गुरुजी आप, मैं यूएस चला जाऊंगा तो पहली बात तो आपसे आपके दर्शन नहीं हो पाएंगे, तो कैसे मैं वहां जाऊँ? And there were other reasons too. That was the most important reasons. Other reasons were, I was completely autonomous, working totally independently, and I enjoyed doing that. There was no shortage of anything. Everything was being provided, by my company, and yes, income would have been doubled, if I went back to US according to Guruji, but that was not such a big incentive at that time. गुरुजी ने, मैंने जब कहा कि गुरुजी नहीं, मुझे वापस नहीं जाना, तो गुरुजी immediately became silent for about 5-6 seconds. He didn't say anything, and then he said, "अच्छा, घूम के आ गया." So anyway, so I mean, somehow immediately arranged, for a air passage on Sunday to go to US, and I went to meet, the gentleman I was supposed to meet, and unknown to me, I learned about it later. The gentleman from finance, the finance VP, who found out that I was coming and I would be given the job, suddenly changed his mind, and he accepted the job before I could get there. So anyway, as Guruji said, "Ghum ke aa gaya." But the beauty, if you realize the beauty of all this, Guruji arranged that position for me, and then because of his love, when I requested, he also unarranged it, immediately. It's, who else can do that? He can arrange and rearrange, the forces in the world, the universe, as he, feels. आपको बहुत से ऐसे experiences बता सकता हूँ, but there's probably one more worth sharing, I think. And that is about, Guruji's, how he controlled nature. And this episode was in early 2000s, I think 2001, 2002, I can't remember, December. The month was December. And Guruji was, sometimes Guruji would get very unhappy with the people in Delhi. Guruji बोलते थे, "गुरुजी, दिल्ली के लोग बिल्कुल बेकार, selfish लोग हैं, बस मांगने आते हैं और कुछ नहीं." And he liked the people in Punjab a lot more. तो उस समय गुरुजी बहुत नाराज हो गए थे और जालंधर चले गए थे. His instructions were that nobody from Delhi should come to Jalandhar. Delhi Sangat was not welcome there. Those were his specific instructions. मुझे समझ में नहीं आया मैं किस कैटेगरी का हूँ. So anyway, I confirmed कि I was allowed to come. So anyway, we made plan to visit Guruji in Jalandhar for his darshan with the whole family. बच्चे हमेशा आते थे जब भी छुट्टियां रहती थी, उनकी winter vacation, spring vacation, summer vacation. We always went for Guruji's darshan together. तो परंतु उस बार मैंने ये गलती करी कि मैंने श्रीलंका का वेकेशन प्लान भी बना लिया. उसके बाद वेकेशन प्लान में ऐसा बनाया कि कोलंबो से दिल्ली की फ्लाइट थी 29 दिसंबर की रात को. प्लान बनाया था कि 30 दिसंबर की मॉर्निंग में we'll go to Delhi or we'll go to Jalandhar. We'll be there in Jalandhar with Guruji on 30th evening. 31st morning we'll come back. We'll start from Jalandhar, be back in Delhi on 31st evening, take the night flight. We'll be back in Singapore on 1st. And children were supposed to go on their flight on 2nd January to go back to US. और इसमें बहुत टाइट मैंने प्लान बना दिया. और उस समय जब प्लान बनाया तो ज़्यादा सोचा नहीं मैंने. तो as I got into the flight from Colombo to Delhi, एकदम से मुझे ख्याल आया कि दिसंबर का समय है, 29 दिसंबर, और दिल्ली में अक्सर फॉग हो जाता है. और अगर फॉग हो जाता है तो फ्लाइट्स नहीं लैंड करती हैं. So I was hoping and praying कि ऐसा ना हो. Certainly, but I was very fearful. That is a big risk that may happen. And that's exactly what happened. हम लोग जब फ्लाइट पहुंची दिल्ली, तो the pilot tried to land, but he aborted the landing. और फिर ऊपर आ गया. And then he came on the comm and he announced, we have to abort our landing because the fog is very thick. So we'll try once more. And he came back and the same thing happened. He couldn't land. This time, when he came on intercom, he said that we've been asked to go to Ahmedabad. अब तो मेरा, my heart just sank. उसके पहले मैं सोच रहा था कि अगर यहाँ नहीं लैंड कर पाएंगे तो हो सकता है जयपुर चले जाएं, पास का एयरपोर्ट है, वहां से we'll be able to arrange somehow to go to Jalandhar. But I didn't realize at that time Jaipur was not an international airport yet. So I think the nearest international airport must have been Ahmedabad. तो वहाँ पे instructions आए थे control tower से, pilot को, we should go to Ahmedabad. But my heart sank, and I started praying to Guruji as much as I could. गुरु जी केवल आपके लिए प्रोग्राम ये केवल बनाया था, आपके दर्शन के लिए बच्चे भी आए थे और हम सबके पास अब अगर आपके दर्शन नहीं हो जाएंगे तो गुरु जी सब हमारा प्लान तो बिल्कुल फेल हो गया, ऐसा नहीं करिए गुरु जी, प्लीज समहाउ अरेंज फॉर इट. So you won't believe, and I couldn't believe it either. We went up, and then suddenly the pilot again came back on intercom, and he said, "Fog seems to be lifting." And so the control tower has asked us to come back and try once more. So we came, and this time we landed. And as soon as we landed, the pilot again came on intercom, and he said, ours was the only flight that could land, and now they are shutting down the airport because the fog is very thick, and they won't allow any more air flights to come. So Guruji just arranged for the fog to lift, just enough time for us to land, and after that the airport was shut down. So anyway, at that time, you can also say that may have been coincidence. But next day when we arrived in Jalandhar, and as soon as we arrived at the Jalandhar temple, and I touched Guruji's feet, the first thing Guruji said, "Sabko bata, teri flight kaise land kari?" Guruji didn't leave any doubts in our mind. Then it was, he arranged for all this. And he just responded to, just a very simple prayer because, we had gone, for his darshan. He just ensured that, we could get his darshan. Guruji often did that. Guruji कभी explain भी करते थे कि मेरी शक्ति लगती है और कभी लोग सोचते हैं कि coincidence था. And so quite often Guruji would actually confirm what he did, so that there should be no doubt in our minds as to what has happened. So actually, आपने इस तरह की blessings तो मैं, I can keep sharing with you for hours, but I think I should share, some of the lessons also, because Guruji हमेशा कहते थे यहाँ पे संगत में सब चीजें प्रैक्टिकल होती हैं. शुरू में मुझे समझ में नहीं आता था कि उसका कहने का मतलब क्या. धीरे धीरे समझ में आया कि कहने का मतलब ये था, गुरुजी कभी बात नहीं करते, किसी तरह का प्रवचन नहीं देते, कोई लेसन्स नहीं देते. काफी लोगों को वो स्मॉल टॉक में ह्यूमर कर दिया करते थे, बिकॉज पीपल वेंट विद ऑल काइंड ऑफ ईगो. दैट्स टिपिकल ऑफ अस, राइट? स्मॉल पीपल, बिग ईगोस. We often go there and we want to be, since we are big, Guruji must talk to us, or whatever. Guruji humored everybody. If anybody you wanted to talk to him, Guruji would speak with him, discuss whatever they wanted to discuss. और गुरुजी ने कभी प्रवचन नहीं, और ये ऐसा कोई lessons नहीं. All lessons were practical, except for a few small things that I'll share with you later. So the first thing I want to share with you is the power of surrender. गुरुजी हमेशा कहते थे, मांगो मत, मानो. What that means is basically you should surrender. Excuse me. I learned that from my own experience, which I want to share. I may have shared this with you before. तो आपको जैसे मैंने पहले बताया, मेरा प्रोग्राम ऐसा होता था, थर्सडे को मैं पहुंच जाता था सिंगापुर से दिल्ली. एयरपोर्ट से सीधे गुरुजी की संगत में चला जाता था. फ्राइडे और सैटरडे को पूरे टाइम संगत में रहता था, और संडे को संगत में जाता था, परंतु उस समय 11:15 बजे की फ्लाइट होती थी सिंगापुर एयरलाइंस की. तो करीब मेरे ख्याल से 8:45 बजे उठ के चला जाता, 8:30 8:45 तक उठ के वहां से गुरुजी की आज्ञा लेके एयरपोर्ट चला. बट दिस पर्टिकुलर ओकेजन, I don't know what happened. Something clicked in my mind. मैंने कहा मैं गुरुजी के यहाँ जा रहा हूँ, so and I should not just get up and leave, by asking him to, telling him that I'm leaving. I said I should leave it to Guruji to tell me when to leave. So उस दिन मैंने सोच लिया कि जब गुरुजी बोलेंगे तभी मैं जाऊँगा, उसके बिना नहीं. And that day my uncle was sitting with me, wife was there, and many other family members were there. So uncle थे मेरे. Of course, he is the elder in the family. So as time passed, he was getting very nervous. I'll miss my flight. तो मुझसे बार-बार कहने लगे, "शो, उठ के जाओ, हमारी फ्लाइट मिस हो जाएगी." Finally, I just could not, ignore, what he was saying. He being our family elder, I must respect that. So मैं उठा, गुरुजी के पास गया. मैं गुरुजी से मैंने बताया भी नहीं था, मैं वापस उस दिन मुझे वापस जाना है कुछ. गुरुजी बड़े कस के हंसे कहते, "तेरी फ्लाइट कैंसिल, बैठ जा." बैठ गया, मैंने चाचा जी से बताया, गुरुजी ने बोला फ्लाइट कैंसिल हो गई। ही वॉज ऑल्सो वेरी सेटिस्फाइड कि अब तो फ्लाइट कैंसिल है, तो जाने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है। परंतु थोड़ी देर आफ्टर सम टाइम, इट वॉज प्रीटी लेट, गुरुजी ने फिर बुलाया, कहा अच्छा जाओ। And it was quite late. It must have been only maybe an hour and a half or so, maybe hour before flight time. तो चाचा जी भी मेरे साथ बाहर आए और फैमिली के लोग भी बाहर आए। चाचा जी ने मुझसे स्पेसिफिकली कहा तो तुम्हारी फ्लाइट यू विल नॉट गोइंग टू मेक इट, यू आर लीविंग सो लेट, ऐसा करना यहीं वापस चले आना, विल गो होम टुगेदर। मैंने कहा ठीक है। तो मैं एयरपोर्ट पहुंचा। इट वाज द ओल्ड एयरपोर्ट, you know, I think many of you must remember how it looked like. There were used to be 4 gates to enter the airport. और बाहर काफी हलचल रहती थी, काफी भीड़ रहती थी, काफी chaos रहता था। And that day was no different. It was exactly the same scene. अंदर घुसने ही में एयरपोर्ट में बड़ी प्रॉब्लम होती। और परंतु एक मुझे बड़ा आश्चर्य, because airport was not very big at that time and you could see almost, you know, all the 4 gates at the same time, you know, when you reach them there. मैंने कहा भीड़ तो बहुत है, टिपिकली डिसऑर्गेनाइज्ड, you know, एकदम chaos है, सब लोग इधर उधर हैं, बहुत हलचल है, सब कुछ है, परंतु गेट सब खाली। ऐसा लग रहा था मुझे गेट के सामने कोई है ही नहीं। As I approached the gate after, you know, getting out of the car and taking my baggage, मैंने देखा यार there was nobody at the gate. So I entered, you know, gate number 3 I think used to be for Singapore Airlines. तो मैंने सामने गेट्स as I entered, कोई वहाँ पे था नहीं, तो I was the only one to enter at that time. मैंने सामने देखा कि उनका सिंगापुर एयरलाइंस का वो साइन लगा रहता था, साइनेज था उनका, वहाँ पे साइनेज वगैरह नहीं दिख रहा था, छोटा सा एयरपोर्ट था। तो मैंने आई टर्न अराउंड, जो पुलिस कांस्टेबल चेक करते थे आपका पासपोर्ट वगैरह, उसी से मैंने पूछा कि यहाँ पे सिंगापुर एयरलाइंस का काउंटर होता था, वो क्या हुआ? उन्होंने कहा उनका वही काउंटर था, आप बहुत लेट हो गए हैं, पर जाइए शायद देखिए क्या हुआ, शायद आपको वोट करने दें। So anyway, I approached the counter. There was, you know, signage had been removed, but somebody came from behind. There was a small cabin behind, I think, for airlines personnel. And he asked me, he said, "Are you Mr. Singh?" I said, "Yes." He said, he handed me my boarding card immediately. So, you know, that didn't surprise me at that time, because the Singapore Airlines had, you know, this practice of pre-printing the business class and first class boarding cards, boarding passes. तो वो तो मुझे तुरंत मिल गया। उसके बाद the next challenge, which used to be a big challenge, was, you know, going through immigration. So anyway, I filled out my form, you know, which was needed, you know, by the immigration people, I think, whatever they used to call that. उसके बाद मैं I approached the immigration. There were 6, I still remember, there were 6 queues, and there were 6, you know, immigration, you know, officers sitting there, and एयरपोर्ट में बहुत भीड़ थी, सब तरफ बिल्कुल हलचल है, टोटली chaotic scene, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Not a single person in any of those queues, and it, you know, you cannot explain that. There's no way to explain what was happening. I was totally bewildered. I just couldn't believe my own eyes. इतने लोग एयरपोर्ट में यहाँ भरे हुए हैं, खचाखच एयरपोर्ट भरा हुआ है, और यहाँ पे कोई नहीं है. But that's exactly what it was. So I just basically walked through the immigration. And then after the next hurdle after that used to be the security gate. There used to be at that time 2 security gates. They were very tall doors, and, you know, बड़ी लंबी लाइन लगी रहती थी, अक्सर आधे घंटे तो लगी जाते थे. But अंदर मैं गया हॉल में, तो देखा मैंने टिपिकल हॉल पूरा भरा हुआ है लोगों से, पूरी भीड़ लगी हुई है, टिपिकली chaotic scenery, people everywhere. और वो दोनों गेट्स पे कोई नहीं है. Not a single person in the queue to go through those security lines. Now I understood now, you know, that it is all Guruji's grace. So I just walked through that, and I was the last person to board the flight. Within a few minutes of me getting on my seat, they actually took off. अगले दिन मैं जब सिंगापुर पहुंचा तो मैंने श्रीमती जी को कॉल किया. मैंने कहा कि देखो, गुरुजी को दर्शन करने जाना, तो गुरुजी को बता देना, you know, thanks to him, I was basically walking through the airport. You know, it didn't take me more than 15 minutes probably from getting out of the car, the front of the airport, to being in the plane. You know, I said even the president of, you know, India probably doesn't, you know, probably get into the plane any faster than that. So anyway, then later on the next day, my wife called. She said कि हम गुरुजी को मैंने मुझे बताने का मौका ही नहीं दिया. मैं वहां जी पहुंची, गुरुजी के प्रणाम करने के लिए पैर छुए, गुरुजी खुद ही बोलते हैं, अंकल की फ्लाइट ठीक थी ना, अच्छा बैठ गया ना, or something to that effect. So, again, Guruji confirming what he did, just in case there was any doubt, कि क्या हो गया. But, when you reflect upon it, what had happened that day? What had happened that day was I had surrendered. मुझे खुद ही नहीं मालूम था कि I had surrendered. मुझे बहुत बाद में समझ में आया क्या. So I had left it to Guruji that, I'll let him decide, leave it up to him, when I leave the Sangat, because I'm in a Gurudwara, why should I, make my own decision? That's exactly, so basically I had surrendered myself completely. And so when you surrender, the results are beautiful. So the lesson I learned that I want to share with you is, please, Guruji से कभी कुछ मांगिए मत, सब कुछ उन पर छोड़ दीजिए, पूरा विश्वास रखिए, जो भी होगा बहुत अच्छा होगा. It will be the best possible outcome will be there under all circumstances. उनसे कुछ मांगिए नहीं. That is the meaning of surrender in Kali. पर बस मानिए उनको. You should realize, who he is. Just leave it up to him. Maybe I should share a couple more lessons. This was from December of 1999, exactly year after Guruji के दर्शन. दिसंबर ऑफ 1999 में समय जब मैं दर्शन के लिए गया था, उस समय तो चाचा जी भी साथ में थे. उस समय तो मुझे मालूम भी नहीं था कि बड़ा मंदिर भी होता है कोई जगह. तो एनीवे, ओनली 10 or 12 of us were left. It was very late. और लोग सबको गुरुजी ने आज्ञा दे दी जाने के लिए. उसके बाद गुरुजी ने कहा सब लोग बड़े मंदिर चलते हैं. तो चाचा जी ने कहा we'll go together in his car. मैंने कहा ठीक है. So I had my car followed the Chachaji's car, and I was with my Chachaji. And in all this journey, which probably took 30 minutes at that time, उसमें ज़्यादा भीड़ वगैरह नहीं हुआ करती थी, और रात तो बहुत देर हो चुकी थी, 12:30 वगैरह बजे थे रात को. So my Chachaji was very angry, and he was angry at Guruji. बार-बार कह रहे थे गुरुजी हर एक को ब्लेस कर देते हैं, ये भी नहीं देखते किसको ब्लेस कर रहे हैं. There is no discrimination. कोई भी आता है उसे ब्लेस कर देते हैं. तरह तरह के क्रिमिनल लोग आते हैं, तरह तरह के गलत लोग आते हैं, who should be behind bars, they are blessed. And my uncle, he's an ex-policeman. He was a Director General Police in UP and Assam, and also Director General of BSF. So he's law and order is basically in every cell of his body. So at that time, what had happened, on that day, a particular IAS officer who was very notorious had come, and my uncle knew that investigation was going on against her at that time. और उनको ये भी मालूम था मेरे अंकल को कि every time something like that happens, she comes there, गुरुजी के दर्शन करती है, गुरुजी के जबरदस्ती पैर वैर दबाती है, गुरुजी का आशीर्वाद लेके चली आती है, उनकी फाइल बंद हो जाती है, कुछ नहीं होता. So my chacha was angry that again the same thing is going to happen. गुरुजी उसे फिर ब्लेस कर देंगे, उसके अगेंस्ट कोई एक्शन नहीं होगा, वो वापस चली जाएगी. So that's why he was so angry. A person like that should not be blessed. How can Guruji be like that he blesses everybody? So anyway, we came to बड़े मंदिर. रात काफी देर का समय था. हम लोग की कार पहले पहुंच गई, गुरुजी की कार बाद में आने वाली थी. लोग बाहर वेट कर रहे थे. गुरुजी का अंधेरा था उस समय, नया बड़ा मंदिर था, कुछ ज्यादा रोशनी वगैरह नहीं थी. गुरुजी बाद में आए, और गुरुजी as he approached us, of course we knew that because of the fragrance that he has come. So Guruji passed us by, and he didn't go more than 5 meters, and then he turned around abruptly, looked at my uncle and said, "Mahapurushoं की कृपा हर पर बराबर." And then abruptly he turned around and went inside the Bade Mandir. So the lesson that I want to share with you, जो गुरुजी की कृपा जो है वो हर पर बराबर है. Every one of us we are all his children, and we are all equally blessed. I mean, that's what he told us at that time. गुरुजी में कोई differentiate नहीं करते, वो हम सबको बराबर bless करते हैं. That lesson is also very important. Please never feel that somebody is more blessed than you are, or you are more blessed than somebody else. We are all equally blessed. Now, what happens with the blessing is up to us. So, what we do with the blessing is completely left up to us. But we are all equally blessed. उसमें discrimination नहीं. गुरुजी की blessing हम सबके साथ. I want to share one more lesson which is also very important. पहले भी आपके साथ शायद हो सकता है शेयर कर लिया हूँ. This is from year 2006. गुरुजी ने मुझसे कुछ करने को कहा था, उसमें क्या, गुरुजी जब पंजाबी बोलते थे और बहुत तेजी से बोलते थे और बड़ी तो अपने लहजे में बोलते थे, डुगरी के, तो मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आता. तो whatever he told me to do, I was not sure I understood it very clearly. I got very confused. So मैंने किसी और से कुछ पूछा कि गुरुजी ने क्या कहा था, जो उस समय कुछ पास में खड़े थे, सुन रहे थे. उन्होंने जो whatever they told me, I thought I was doing that, but apparently it was not correctly done. So anyway, one day Guruji called me during that phase. अकेले बुलाया उन्होंने, दिन में बुलाया था, और जब मैं गया तो गुरुजी अकेले थे और मुझसे बहुत प्यार से बट ऑल्सो वेरी स्टर्नली मुझसे बोलते हैं, आप अपने और गुरु के बीच में किसी को नहीं लाते. और फिर मुझे 2 फोन नंबर उन्होंने दिया. एक कहते हैं पहला नंबर गौरव का है, उनका नेफ्यू, कहते हैं उसका नंबर है, और दूसरा नंबर के उन्होंने बोला कि उनके जो ड्राइवर था उसका नंबर. उन्होंने कहा मैंने इन दोनों को बता दिया है कि तेरा जब भी कॉल आएगा मैं तुरंत तुझसे बात करूंगा. मैं अगर पाठ कर रहा हूं तो भी मुझे बताए तेरा कॉल है, मैं तुरंत तुझसे बात करूंगा. जब भी तेरा मानो तुरंत मुझसे बात कर लेना. तो I felt very good that he was saying that, but there's a message for all of us there. Message there is very clear. आप अपने और गुरुजी के बीच में किसी को नहीं रखिए. Please never try to learn anything about Guruji from somebody else. In terms of relationship, आपकी relationship direct होनी चाहिए. Don't put anybody in the middle. And the other thing that Guruji said is that his doors are always open. He is always approachable. Problem is always at our end because of all the hurdles that we create for ourselves, that God is not available, or we have to do this for God to listen to us and this and that. That's not so. According to Guruji, what I heard is he is always available. So please, first of all, don't put anybody between you and Guruji. Don't try to find out what Guruji wants from you or what you should be doing through somebody else. Please have a direct connection with Guruji. And how do you do that? गुरुजी हमेशा कहते थे टेलीपैथी से बात किया कर. और मुझे अब समझ में नहीं आता था कि टेलीपैथी से मैं कैसे बात करूं. वो तो बात कर लेंगे. He is fully capable of doing that, but how would I do that? Much later, years later, I realized that what Guruji is saying, that if we want to connect with him, we must meditate. So please, the only way you can connect with Guruji is through meditation. So please, if don't worry about doing anything else, but at least meditate. Make time for Guruji. Make a direct connection, and everything will fall in place properly, with that kind of a connection. I would also like to reinforce some of the lessons which you already know from Guruji. Guruji ने कहा किसी का don't harm anyone. The reason is very clear. We are all his children. We all have come from him. We are all connected. So harming somebody else means harming ourselves. In due time, the same thing will happen to us. So please don't harm anyone. And if you do that knowingly, we'll all suffer the consequences. We can't escape that. If you do it unknowingly, I'm sure Guruji will help us and take care of most of the reactions that will happen. But please don't harm anyone knowingly. And we can harm people, not just physically. We can harm them mentally. We can harm them emotionally. We can harm them financially. So please don't. That is Guruji's lesson. Let's not do that. और गुरुजी ने सिखाया गुप्त जाप और गुप्त दान. गुप्त दान के लिए गुरुजी ने कहा ऐसा दान करो कि तुम्हारा राइट हैंड से दान करो तो लेफ्ट हैंड को भी नहीं पता चलना चाहिए कि तुम दान कर रहे हो. Whatever we do in terms of donations, and that donations could be in any form. It could be financial, it could be maybe our time, it could be anything. But it should be done totally anonymously. If अगर हमने बता दिया किसी को और हमारे दिल में ऐसा है कि because of our ego, other people should know कि हम दान कर रहे हैं, हमारा ये ऐसा है, then that won't come according to what we have learned from it. So gupt dan, gupt jap is very important, and it should be done as much as we can. गुप्त जाप के लिए भी बताया. देखिए, फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम लोग आजकल जो जाप करते हैं, वी डू इट लाउडली. ओम नमः शिवाय, शिव जी सदा सहाय. ओम नमः शिवाय, गुरु जी सदा सहाय. बट गुरु जी के इंस्ट्रक्शंस हैं कि हमारा जो जाप होना चाहिए वो गुप्त होना चाहिए. We do it in our heart. Then we have plenty of time to do that. If you want to do that, when we are waiting somewhere, we are driving, we are sitting in the car, we're in a train, whatever. So there are a lot of opportunity to do that. और एक बात और गुरु जी ने समझाई थी बड़ी क्लियरली. एक बार उन्होंने कहा था कि जो भी कर, ऐसा कर कि गुरु के लिए कर रहा है, अपने लिए नहीं. So it's a lesson that's in our scriptures in Gita and elsewhere too. We should do everything as an offering to the divinity. And once if we do that, हमारे कर्म जो होते हैं उसे create नहीं. This is the explanation given in Gita. So please, whatever you want to do, if it's something big, a project you want to do, initiative you're doing, do it as if you're doing it for Guruji, not for yourself. So these are lessons, that he gave very clearly. And then of course there are lessons that we learned through our own experiences that I have shared. But there are two more things I want to share with you about Guruji. First is that everything that is in our scriptures, please believe it. Get this word mythology out of your vocabulary when it comes to India. There is no mythology. Everything is true, correct, and pure history. And it has happened. That's why that is there in the Quran and other places. So, and गुरुजी ने बहुत चीजें बताई. जैसे मेरे एक बार मैं गुरुजी के पास बैठा था तो बहुत वैसे गुरुजी ने बता रखा था कुछ पूछना नहीं, पर कभी कभी once in a while I would ask him something. Maybe 4 or 5 times I have asked him things. So at that time मेरे मन में हनुमान जी के बारे में था, because I had some certain things I had gone through in terms of experiences and this and that. So मेरे मुंह से बस word निकला हनुमान जी, and Guruji said Sanda Munda hai. He is my son. And that's how it's explained in the scriptures. Hanumanji was an incarnation of Lord Shiva. He came to help Lord Ram, who was an incarnation of Vishnu, to achieve his objective when Lord Vishnu had come. At another time, somebody else was looking at 2 prints that were hanging framed. They were framed prints in the Empire State Sangat place, hall. माँ के prints थे, मेरे ख्याल से माँ दुर्गा और माँ अम्बा के prints थे. Somebody out of curiosity just उन्होंने गुरुजी से पूछा, गुरुजी ये कौन है? तो गुरुजी कहते, they are my daughters. And like that, Guruji explained everything so clearly. There is no mythology; it's all there. Actually, मैंने काफी संगत सुनी थी. लोगों ने सुनाई कि किस तरह से यमदूत आते थे और गुरुजी ने भगा दिया, उनको एक्स्ट्रा लाइफ मिली, तो व्हाटएवर, समथिंग गुड हैपेंड. मैं कभी कभी सोचता था कि ये ऐसे ही मतलब होता है, ये यमदूत की लोग ऐसे आके बोल जाते हैं कि वेदर दे आर इमेजिनिंग इट और व्हाट्स देयर. एक दिन मुझसे रहा नहीं गया, अकेला बैठा तो गुरुजी के पास, तो मैंने कहा, गुरुजी ये कुछ यमदूत होते हैं? गुरुजी ने कहा, हाँ दूत होते हैं, और जो छोटे वाले होते हैं वो बहुत परेशान करते हैं. Not only they are Yamdut, actually there are different types of Yamdut. But like that, the people who knew Guruji at that time, who were, if we asked, we learned so much, that basically, मेरा निष्कर्ष, मेरा conclusion ये है, everything that's in there, that we read in our Quran or even our Ved, that's not fiction. There is no fiction there. It's all pure what has happened. Of course, over the years, because the Purans have been kept, by people, who were supposed to keep it honestly. ऐसा नहीं किया. They have added, to it, for their own selfish reasons. So those things are there. But other than that, other things are there for that actually what has happened, historical. Basically, it's a history more than anything else. The other thing I have learned from Guruji, it's something very unique, which I think maybe I've shared with you, maybe other people may have shared with you. एक बार मैं सोच रहा था कि सब जितने इंडिया में इतने लोग होते हैं, जब claim that they are Sant Mahapurush, they go all over the world, on world tours, and they have followings, everywhere in the world for that reason. This was very early, I think around the year 2000 or so. Maybe year 99. मैं एक दिन गुरुजी से पूछा, मैंने ऐसे ही पूछा, curious, I was alone with him. मैंने कहा गुरुजी आपका कभी बाहर जाने का मन होता है? मैंने सोचा कि अगर गुरुजी का मन होता होगा तो वी शुड मेक अरेंजमेंट्स फॉर इट. Guruji answers, was so good. Guruji was silent for some time. I thought he was sad. Guruji was hardly ever sad. I never saw him sad except at that time. And Guruji ने बड़े आंसर दिया very solemnly. मुझे बस इंडिया में अच्छा लगता है और कहीं नहीं अच्छा लगता. Those were his answer. That was his answer. So we should take it to heart. India is Devbhumi. Bharatvarsh is Devbhumi. That is a place that is very special. And why was Guruji sad? Obviously, not in the best situation right now. So another obligation that we have, if we believe in Guruji, is to do what is right for our country in any way we can. If we can't do it directly, help those who are doing it by indirect participation in some way or form. So I think these are the things I wanted to share with you, some personal experiences, some lessons that I learned from my own experience, some things that Guruji told us directly, and some couple of other things like his love for India and the fact that everything, there's no mythology in our scriptures, it's all real, please believe it. Get rid of this term mythology altogether. Never use this term. Really, I feel very sad when I see hear the term being used or see the term being used. One last thing I want to share with you is who was Guruji. I may have shared that with you before. Guruji के सब मैंने miracles देखे थे, सभी लोगों ने देखे, तो obviously the question that goes through your mind is who is Guruji? And पूछने की हिम्मत तो नहीं होती थी कभी. परंतु एक दिन मैं सोचता रहता था हमेशा कि गुरुजी सोते कब है, क्योंकि गुरुजी को मैंने सोते कभी देखा नहीं. संगत शुरू हो जाती थी और बहुत देर तक चलती थी, अक्सर 2 बजे 3 बजे तक चलती रहती थी. और उसके बाद मुझे बताया जाता था कि गुरुजी उसके बाद पाठ करते हैं. तो obviously at that time question going through my mind and everybody's mind must have been गुरुजी कभी सोते भी हैं कि नहीं. और मैंने कभी पूछने की हिम्मत नहीं पड़ती. परंतु एक दिन मैं अकेला बैठा था, कोई आसपास नहीं था, तो मैंने कहा पूछ लेते हैं गुरुजी को. उन्हीं कमरे में बैठा था शायद. मैंने गुरुजी से पूछा कि गुरुजी आप कभी सोते हैं? तो गुरुजी बहुत प्यार से मुस्कुराए. It was absolutely a divine smile. I can't describe that. And गुरुजी इतने प्यार से बोला, कहते हैं मैं सोऊंगा तो सृष्टि को कौन देखेगा? If I sleep, who will look after the universe? Who will look after the creation? So, he gave such a beautiful answer to a very simple childlike question I had posed. So he revealed himself. So he's, as people have told me by then, he's Lord Shiva. He's still very much around us. And he's there for those who believe in him and who love him. If you are ready to stop asking, and just जैसे गुरुजी कहते थे मांगो मत, then he's there. He's there always. He'll always hold our hand and take us to the destination that we need to go to. Even though we don't know the destination. We all have come from him, but we don't know that. And we all need to go back to him. We don't know that either. And even if we know that, we don't know how. That's why he's there. He's Sadguru. Lord Shiva comes as Sadguru every once in a while, according to SHIV Purana, with the only purpose that he takes care of some of his bhakt at that. Please, if you believe in him as your Guru, and there can only be one Guru for us, and if we have a Guru, that is the highest blessing possible. There is no other blessing that is higher than that. So, there is a very, very beautiful book by Shankaracharya, Vivek Chudamani, in which he talks so beautifully about this. He says there are 3 things which are possible only with Bhagavad Kripa. 3 things are possible only with divine blessings. First, human body, which we all have. We are blessed, at least we all have that first blessing. The second highest blessing he says is spiritual curiosity. So I think we are all together today, hopefully, that we all have spiritual curiosity, not a selfish curiosity. So we all have that blessing too. And he said the highest and the ultimate blessing is Sadguru. So hopefully we are all together because we do think that he's our Sadguru. So if that's true, then we are really blessed. I mean, there's no higher blessing possible. It all calls for celebration. Nothing to worry about, because our Guru is there. He's looking after us. He's taking care of us, ensuring that everything is as good as possible at all times. So please, with that thought, I want to leave you. Just celebrate. गुरुजी के इंस्ट्रक्शंस रहते थे सबके लिए, ऐश करो. वेरी टेक इट टू हार्ट. जस्ट ऐश करिए. मतलब पहले तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आता था कि गुरुजी आयाशी क्यों करवा रहे हैं, बट ऐश करना मीन्स यू बी केयर फ्री, बी विदाउट एनी वरीज, लिव विदाउट केयर, लिव विदाउट वरीज, बिकॉज ही इज देयर. जस्ट हैव फुल फेथ इन हिम, हैव फुल कॉन्फिडेंस. जय गुरुजी.